The whites and their offspring attempted to force Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, into the false belief that whites had a special relationship with God by creating a fictional son for God and claiming that this fictional white character was the savior of the world. They attempted to make Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, believe that our happiness and well-being in life and after death is absolutely dependent on us believing in and worshiping the fictional white character. The whites desired to identify themselves with God through their fictional character and therefore force Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, into the false belief that whites and their offspring are divine or have God's blessing no matter what they have done to Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut. The whites attempted to control every aspect of the lives of Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, through introducing this fictional character that teaches we should love all of our neighbors. These disordered fictional teachings they attach to their fictional character are designed to make Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, accept the invasion, destruction, abuse, and control from whites and their offspring, and view our suffering and their control as divinely ordered from God. They gave the name Jesus, Yeshua, or Jesus, to this fictional white character. Jesus never existed. The name Jesus, Yeshua, or Jesus, is taken from the name Shensu, which is one of the titles of the God Heru. In the language of Kemet, Shensu is composed of Shet, which means child, and Ensu, which means royal, divine, king, and king of southern Kemet. Shensu thus means divine royal child. For tens of thousands of years, Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, have communicated with the God Heru and invoked his spirit under his title Shensu. This title of Heru was corrupted by the whites from Shensu into Jesus, Yeshua, and Jesus, and applied to their fictional white character. The God Heru is a spirit force in creation, whose energy is operating through the core of the earth and the core of the sun. In your body, Heru's energy operates through your cardiovascular system, whose major organ is the heart. In your spirit, Heru's energy operates through your will. The divine energy of the Great Spirit, Ra, Ra'et, flows throughout all things in creation. The God Heru is a spirit force in creation who regulates the flow of this divine energy so that all things in creation can receive their share of this energy of Ra, Ra'et, and use it to execute their functions in the world. Heru executes this function as he operates through your heart and cardiovascular system, regulating the flow of blood from the heart to all cells in the body so that all cells can receive the energy they need to execute their functions in the body. Heru executes the same function as he operates through your will, regulating your energy, your actions towards various behaviors that allow you to execute your function in the world. Heru executes the same function as he operates through the core of the sun, regulating the flow of solar energy from the sun to the planets of the solar system so that the planets can receive the energy they need to execute their functions in the solar system. Heru executes the same function as he operates through the solar energy at the core of Earth, regulating the flow of energy from the core towards the surface of Earth so that the water, sky, plants, animals, minerals, and humans can receive this energy and use it to execute their functions in nature. Heru is thus the spirit force in creation that takes the energy of the Great Spirit, Ra, Ra'et, and regulates its flow to us all. Heru is at the heart or core of all things, including animals, plants, planets, stars. The knowledge of this God, this powerful spirit in nature, was corrupted by the whites and applied to their fictional white character Jesus, who they made to be a white male, God's only begotten Son, who is directly related to white people and teaches us to love whites. As we love ourselves. The root of the name Heru is Her. Her or Heri in the language of Kemet means chief, king, he who is above, leader. This is one of the reasons why Heru has the title Heri, or king. The sun also has the title, as it is the Heri, or king of the solar system. Your heart is the Heri, or king in your body. Your will is your Heri, or king of your actions. The core of earth is the Heri, or king of the planet. Your heart, your will, the core of the earth, and the core of the sun are also hidden from view, and the divine energy they regulate is invisible or hidden. The term Seshta in the language of Kemet means that which is hidden, secret, or sacred. This is why Heru also has the title Heri Seshta, which means king or chief, Heri, of that which is hidden, secret, or sacred, Seshta. This title, Heri Seshta, was also given to some priests and priestesses in Kemet. This title was corrupted by the whites from Heri Seshta to Heristos, Heristos, and Christos, or Christ. Thus, Heru, or Hensu, the Heri Seshta, was corrupted into Jesus, the Heristos, and Jesus, the Christ. As the whites manufactured their fictional white savior, they used the names and titles of the god Heru and the knowledge of the god to create a fictional life story for the new white character. The entire story of the Son of God being born of a virgin who would grow up to lead the people, be killed and become resurrected as the savior of the world, was stolen by the whites from the knowledge of the god Heru, his mother, the goddess Aset, his father, the god Assar, and his father's brother, the god Set. Assar is a god in creation whose spirit operates through the star system of Sa, called Orion, through the moon, and through the black soil substance of earth. In your body, Assar's energy operates through your pituitary gland. Assar operates as the masculine aspect of your soul, your Ka. Assar is thus the force dwelling within your spirit that is always rooted in what is in harmony with divine order. Assar is a god whose spirit has the ability to unify the functions or operations of the various forces in nature. The god Assar was thus ordered by the Great Spirit to operate on earth and teach Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, by example, how to live in harmony with divine law. Aset is a goddess in creation whose spirit operates through the star system Sapatit, or Sirius, through the moon, and through the river waters of earth. In your body, Aset's energy operates through the vagina and uterus structure in the female, and the penis and prostate gland of the male. Aset operates as the feminine aspect of your soul, your Kaet. Aset is thus the force dwelling within your spirit that makes you receptive to what is in harmony with divine order. Aset is a goddess whose spirit has the ability to maintain the unity of functions and operations of the forces in nature. The goddess Aset was thus ordered by the Great Spirit to operate on earth and teach Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, by example, how to maintain their living in harmony with divine law. The god Set is the brother of Assar and Aset. The god Set is a spirit force in creation whose energy operates through the star system Meskheti, called the Great Bear, the planet Mercury, and the deserts or red-hot lands of Earth. In your body, Set's energy operates through the nervous system and the gonads, which are the testes of the male and the ovaries of the female. In your spirit, Set's energy governs your desire. Desire can be for that which is in harmony with divine law, yet desire can also be misguided, making that which is disharmonious seem attractive. In Afura Ka, Afurai Kait, the Great Spirit directed the god Assar and the goddess Aset to operate amongst the population of Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, and guide our spirits to living in harmony with divine law and how to maintain the life of harmony. Assar and Aset became king and queen in Afura Ka, Afurai Kait. As Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut in Kemet and Knesset lived under the government of the king Assar and the queen Aset, we learned the divine balance of male and female. Assar and Aset instructed us in spiritual cultivation, as well as the cultivation of the land. We began to apply what we learned under the guidance of Assar and Aset, and we built great civilizations around the world, reflecting the divine harmony of creation. Yet the god Set desired to govern Kemet himself in place of the god Assar. Set therefore plotted and killed Assar, disposed of his body in the river, took over the rule of Kemet, and began a tyrannical, disharmonious government rooted in misguided desire, disorder, lust. After the murder of Assar, the goddess Aset was forced out of her role as queen of Kemet. She searched tirelessly for the body of her husband Assar, that he may be given a proper burial. When she found the body of her husband, Aset performed ritual. She began to invoke the spirit of Assar from his existence in the ancestral realm. Through ritual, Aset communicated with her husband and was drawn to his spirit. Through their divine spiritual union, Aset became pregnant. Because of her devotion to her husband, Aset was referred to under the title Merit, which means beloved in the language of Kemet. She was called Merit Assar, or the beloved of Assar. The whites corrupted this name Merit into Mary and Miriam and gave it to their fictional white female character. The union of the spirit of the god Assar with the goddess Aset, which resulted in Aset becoming pregnant with her son, the god Heru, was corrupted by the whites into the immaculate conception and virgin birth by a fictional white character named Mary, who would give birth to a fictional white boy, Jesus, or Jesus, whose father was God. The goddess Aset was informed by the god Tehuti that the son she was carrying in her womb would grow to be strong. He would defeat and remove Set from power and reestablish divine law and order. As divine heir to the throne, the son of the god Assar would restore the divine government of his father. Aset was directed to give birth to her son and raise him away from the seat of power of the government, because Set had declared that all male children would be killed. Set knew that the son of the god Assar was going to be born. He knew that the son of Assar was the rightful heir to the throne, who would challenge the evil government and abolish it. Set thus sought to kill the child as soon as he was born. However, Aset followed the directions of Tehuti. She gave birth to Heru and hid away in the swamps of northern Kemet. The whites corrupted this knowledge of the gods and goddess into a prophecy to a fictional white female, Mary, by an angel, that she would give birth to the Son of God. The whites made their fictional Mary go into northern Egypt, or Kemet, to hide her fictional son, Jesus. This is also one of the reasons why the whites made their fictional Moses to be hidden in the swamps of northern Egypt as a baby. The whites also corrupted the knowledge of the god Set into the fictional account of the evil king Herod, who decided to put to death all newborn boys so that the savior child would never live to challenge the government. The whites created a fictional character called the devil, who they made into a spirit of absolute evil. They corrupted the name Set, or Seti, into Satan and applied it to their fictional devil. The god Set eventually found that Heru had been born. He found out where Heru was and had him killed. One of Set's associates stabbed Heru. When Aset found that her son Heru had been killed, she went to embrace the deceased body of her son and lamented. Her sister, the goddess Nebt-Het, also lamented with her. Nebt-Het is a goddess in nature whose spirit also operates through the star system of Sapatit, called Sirius, through the planet Venus and the rain waters of Earth. In your body, Nebt-Het operates through your kidneys. In your spirit, Nebt-Het governs your emotions. As Aset and Nebt-Het lamented the death of Heru, the goddess Serket told Aset to call on Ra. Aset called on Ra, the creator, and Ra sent the god Tehuti from heaven to cause Heru to be resurrected. The whites corrupted this episode into the two fictional Marys, lamenting the death of the fictional Jesus and learning of his resurrection by an angel of the Lord. Aset has the title Merit, meaning beloved, yet Merit is also a title held by Nebt-Het. For thousands of years, Afurakanu, Afurai Kaitnut, had communicated with these goddesses and invoked Aset and Nebt-Het under the title Merit. After Heru's resurrection, there was great rejoicing because Aset saw in him one who would answer for his father. Heru, along with another warrior god called Heru Behudet, the son of Ra, led a great army to victory over Set, removing Set from government. Heru then assumed his rightful place as ruler of the world. The whites corrupted this episode by applying these acts to their fictional character Jesus, claiming that he would overcome Satan with an army of angels and become ruler of the world. Heru and Heru Behudet, fighting Set together, was applied to the fictional Messiah and Mahdi of the whites, who come to destroy the rule of Satan. Heru with the goddesses Aset and Nebhet performed a ritual to resurrect the god Assar. Assar was resurrected, and his spirit left the ancestral realm to rejoin with the great spirit, Raet, to operate as a god in nature. This knowledge of Heru, or Hensu, along with Aset and Nebhet, resurrecting Assar, was also corrupted by the whites. The name Assar was perverted into Osiris by the whites. The ancient title Ur, meaning great or the great, in the language of Kemet, was corrupted by the whites into Ul. The god Assar, under the title Ur-Assar, was corrupted into Ul-Osiris. Ul-Osiris became Ul-Lasaris and Lazarus. The fictional Jesus, with two Marys behind him as their brother Lazarus is resurrected, is a perversion of the knowledge of Heru, with Aset, or Merit, and Nebhet, or Merit, behind him as they resurrect their brother, the god Assar. Lazarus comes out in bandages or mummified because the god Assar was always depicted in the form of a mummified god in Kemet. In northern Kemet, a major city called Dada was sacred to Assar, Aset, and Heru. In this city, they were often referred to under the names Banebdada, Hatmehit, and Heru Pakart. Assar, the father, was referred to as Banebdada, meaning the ram, lord of the city Dada. Banebdada came to be pronounced Banedara or Bandera. The whites corrupted the title Banedara into Pantara or Pandera. Assar was thus referred to as Pandera, and his son Heru was called Heru, son of Pandera. Heru, or Hensu, the son of Pandera, was a title stolen by the whites and used for their fictional character who never existed, called Jesus, or Yeshua ben Pandera, meaning Jesus, son of Pandera. Heru operates through the core of the sun. The cycles of the sun, Heru's cycles, were used to create a fictional life story for the fictional white character Jesus. Every year at spring, near March 21st, the day consists of nearly 12 hours of sunlight and 12 hours of darkness. Every day after the beginning of spring, the days become longer and longer until on or near June 21st, the days consist of approximately 15 hours of sunlight and 9 hours of darkness. Starting on or near June 24th, the days become gradually shorter and shorter. By the beginning of fall, near September 22nd, days and nights are again nearly 12 hours each. Daylight continues to diminish after the beginning of fall until the first day of winter on or near December 21st, when daylight is approximately 9 hours and night lasts approximately 15 hours. Between December 21st and December 24th, the 9-hour days and 15-hour nights continue. On December 25th, the days begin to get longer and the nights become shorter. When March 21st arrives, the days and nights are approximately equal again at 12 hours each. When the daylight, the light of the sun, begins to increase on December 25th, our ancestresses and ancestors recognized the birth of a new sun. The sun, which was created by the Supreme Being, was said to have been born. The Supreme Being's sun is born every December 25th. This sun is the light of the world. The whites corrupted this knowledge into a fictional account of a white boy called God's son, the light of the world, being born on December 25th. Between December 25th and March 21st, the sunlight is increasing, yet there are still more hours of darkness than there are hours of light. Darkness, or Set, rules the world as king. When the daylight increases to the point of equality with darkness on or near March 21st, the powers of light and darkness are equal at 12 hours each. At this time on earth, The sun can be seen positioned on the intersection of the Earth's celestial equator and the Earth's ecliptic, which is Earth's pathway around the sun. When the sun is seen to be positioned on the intersection of the equator and the ecliptic, the sun is said to be positioned on a cross. After March 21st, the sunlight increases while darkness begins to decrease. The position of the sun is no longer on the intersection of the equator and the ecliptic. The sun is then said to have overcome its hanging or death on the cross. By June 21st, the beginning of summer, the sun rises at its highest point in the sky. It is said that the sun has ascended into heaven to be with the Father. This cycle of the sun, Heru's cycle in nature, was corrupted by the whites into a story of a fictional white male who was born on December 25th, struggled with the devil, the prince of darkness and evil king of the world, was hung on a cross, overcame death, and ascended into the sky or heaven to sit on the right hand of his Father. The goddess Aset operates through the star Sapatit, called Sirius, which is the brightest star in the sky. As Aset Sapatit, she is called the Great Provider because of the energy she transmits to the sun and earth. The god Assar operates through the star system of Sa, called Orion, and can be found together with the star Sapatit. As Assar Sa, he is said to make heaven and earth fruitful. Together, Assar, operating through the star system Sa, and Aset, operating through the star system Sapatit, are husband and wife, transmitting their energy to our solar system, which develops the energy of Heru, the core of sun and earth. As the goddess Aset operates through the star system Sapatit, she is called the Queen of Sapatit. In the language of Kemet, Sapat means to provide, provider. This title was corrupted by the whites from the Queen of Sapatit into the Queen of Sapa, Shaba, or Sheba. As the god Assar operates through the star system Sa, he is called Heri Met. In the language of Kemet, Heri means king, chief, or leader, and Met means north, or northern territory. Heri Met thus means king of the northern territory. North Kemet was sacred to Assar as the region where he made his transition to the Sekhet Hetep to rule as king, and also where he was resurrected. The title Heri was corrupted by the whites into Hori, Shori, Sholi, Soli, and Sol. Met was corrupted into man. This title Heri Met was thus corrupted into Hori Me, Sholi Man, Soli Man, and Solomon. The two star systems, Sapatit and Sa, change positions in the sky and ultimately unite with one another. This union of Sapatit and Sa is the union of the goddess Aset and the god Assar in the sky. This is the union of Aset, the queen of Sapatit, and Assar, or Heri Met, king of the north. When Aset and Assar unite through the two stars, Sapatit and Sa, they occasion the appearance of a star called Heru Amduat. Because the god Heru operates through this star, he has been called the son of Aset Sapatit and Assar Sa for thousands of years. As queen, Aset Sapatit also has the title Rehit, meaning wise one in the language of Kemet. Heru Amduat, the star born of the wise queen Aset Rehit, is thus called the son of Rehit, meaning son of the wise one. The whites corrupted the title Rehit into Lehim and Lech. In the language of Kemet, Per or Perat means product of or offspring of. Perat Rehit thus means son or offspring of the wise one, Rehit. The whites corrupted Per and Perat into Ban and Benat and Iban. Thus the description of Heru Amduat as the son or offspring of Aset Rehit was corrupted from Pera Rehit into Benalechim, Menalech, and Menelech, the son of Solomon and Sheba. Solomon, Sheba, and Menelech never existed. The names of these fictional characters and the fictional life stories attached to them are perversions by the whites and their offspring of the names and titles of Assar, Aset, and Heru as they function through the star systems of Sa and Sapatit. In your spirit, Heru governs your will. Set governs your desire. Assar and Aset govern your soul, the divine conscious part of your spirit. When you allow the divine part of your spirit to guide your actions, you live well. This is Assar and Aset, ruling the country as king and queen. However, sometimes you allow your misguided desires or lust to control your actions. This is Set, killing Assar in order to take over the reins of control. As you live controlled by lust and misguided desire, you cause yourself to suffer. This is Set's rule, causing the people to be oppressed. At some point, you decide to make a change. You begin to look for the proper way to live your life. This is Aset, looking for her husband Assar. When you have found out the truth about how you should live and make the decision to embrace divine order over a lust-dominated lifestyle, this is Aset finding Assar, embracing him, and becoming pregnant with a new will, Heru, to live right. As your newly born will to live right conflicts with your lust or misguided desire, this is Heru and Set, will and desire, the two combatants fighting. When lust wins out, Set has killed Heru. When you follow your intuition and your will to live right re-emerges, this is Heru being resurrected from the dead by Tahuti. When you finally root out the lust or misguided desire and live according to divine law for good, Heru has defeated Set and taken over the government of your personal world. As you strive to maintain a life of harmony through seeking the guidance of your ancestresses and ancestors, this is Aset, Heru, and Nephet, resurrecting Assar. On earth, Assar, as the black soil substance of earth, is in partnership with Aset, the river waters of earth. Their partnership brings prosperity to the people. When the red-hot desert lands of Set begin to expand and dry up the black soil and the rivers, the people suffer and go hungry. Assar and Aset have been removed from rulership, and Set has taken over. When the river waters begin to move and expand again, and move over the black soil, the union of the two, river water and black soil, Aset and Assar, produce vegetation, drawing on the solar energy deep within the core of earth and within the sun. Through the vegetation, Heru's energy is born into the world. The people are thus returned to prosperity and free from hunger and suffering. Assar and Aset have produced the savior of the world. The hot weather of the desert threatens the existence of the new vegetation, and the vegetation dies as a result. Yet the vegetation later re-emerges at a certain season. Heru has been killed and then resurrected. The vegetation grows into lush forests with great trees and vines that displace the desert. Heru has taken over government of the world. In your body, the pituitary gland, Assar's region, is a master gland that regulates the functions of other glands. The male and female reproductive organs, Aset's region, have reflexive areas that are connected to all of the major organs and glands. The heart, Heru's region, regulates the flow of blood and thus energy to the various organs and structures of the body. The nervous system and the testes of the male and ovaries of the female, Set's region, governs your desire to act and your sexual desire. When one is controlled by lust, they can place an overemphasis on sexual activity. They force the body's organs and structures to feed the sex drive. The pituitary gland becomes overworked and submits to the misguided sex drive. The penis and vagina structures of the reproductive area become overworked and weakened as they submit to the misguided sex drive. The glands, organs, and structures of the body are drained of their nutrients in order to support the lust of the misguided sex drive. The body becomes weakened. The immune system becomes compromised. Set has forced Assar into submission, and Aset into submission, and the world, or body, is suffering under his government. An electric signal from the brain and pineal gland causes the reproductive organs and pituitary gland to begin to function in harmony again. The heart begins to regulate the flow of blood away from its overemphasis in the reproductive organs. Here, Assar and Aset have reunited or realigned themselves, and Heru has begun to assume his role in government. When your lust fights the normal functioning of the body, there is conflict. You experience anxiety. Your heart then becomes heavy. Set has attacked. and Heru has been killed. Eventually your heart resumes its normal rhythm. Heru has been resurrected. Heru re-establishes the proper regulation of blood throughout the body. The organs and structures receive their proper nourishment again. Set has been defeated. Assar and Set also function through the moon. The moon is called Ya in the language of Kemet. Assar is connected with the new moon, which is black. Assar is often depicted as a perfectly black god. As a spirit operating through the new moon, Assar has the title Assar Ya. Set is connected with the full moon. As the light of the moon begins from a crescent shape to expand day after day, it gradually covers the entire blackness of the new moon to become a full moon after nearly 15 days. Set has just come over the perfectly black god Assar and become a pregnant or full moon with the light of the sun, Heru. Set, as the full or pregnant moon, transmits that sunlight to earth. Heru is thus called Heru Ya or Hensu Ya. The light reaches earth and the people who were in darkness. The full moon is then reduced to a 3/4 moon. The black crescent shape begins to expand until the entire moon is dark after nearly 15 days. Set has removed the light and the people of earth are in darkness again. Heru has been killed. In about 3 days, the silver light of the crescent appears from the face of the dark moon. Heru, or Hensu, has resurrected on the 3rd day. The crescent light expands into a full moon. The light reaches the people of earth. Set has been defeated. The people of earth are no longer in darkness. Assar, Set, Heru, Set, Nephet, and Tahuti also operate through the lives and events that take place within the clans of Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut. Assar, the great black king, is murdered by Set, who is often depicted as red. The Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, the great black nations of earth, were destroyed by misguided desire, operating within a small portion of black people controlled by lust, and a large group of reddish or white foreigners from the deserts of Eurasia who were their followers. Set takes the body of Assar and throws it in the river, then proceeds to take control of the country. Here the white foreigners of Europe and Asia take the bodies of black people and throw them in the water. This is the beginning of the slave trade of millions of Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, who are forced into ships and sent into the waters of the ocean. The white foreigners then take control of the black nations and create unlawful rules and regulations. Set is forced out of her role as queen and goes to search for her husband. This is the remnant of black people who are forced out of their countries, yet survived the wars and escaped slavery. These Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, would search for their sisters and brothers who were still in bondage. Set finds the body of Assar, performs ritual, communicates with his spirit, and becomes pregnant. Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, who had escaped slavery, would find their sisters and brothers on the plantations and seek to unite with them and build alliances with them to plan for freedom from the white slavers. The god Tahuti tells Set that her son will grow up to defeat Set and that she must hide away in the swamps to raise Heru away from the seat of government. Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, who escaped slavery, set up their own sovereign independent nations in the swamps and forests and mountains away from the plantations. We gave birth to children who would grow to become those who will defeat the rule of the white slavers. Set finds out about Heru's birth and has him killed. The white slavers plot against the Afura Kani, Afurai Kaitnit males and females, creating drugs and diseases that we use to destroy ourselves and thus maintain white rule. The goddesses Set and Nephet find Heru murdered and lament his death. The mothers of Afura Kani, Afurai Kaitnit males, as well as females, lament as they bury their children daily as a result of violence, drugs, and diseases created by the whites. The goddess Serket tells Set to call on Ra. Ra sends Tahuti to cause the resurrection of Heru. We are reminded by our ancestresses and ancestors that our liberation is only possible through the invocation of the goddesses and gods. We begin to invoke Ra, Raet, and the spirits of the goddesses and gods, and the sons and daughters of Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, begin to wake up. Heru, with Heru Behudet, the son of Ra, defeats Set and re-establish divine order in the world. The children of those who were captured and enslaved away from Afura Ka, Afurai Kait, are uniting with the children of those who were colonized in Afura Ka, Afurai Kait, and are defeating the whites and their offspring and their false religions and perverse culture for good. Aset, Nephet, and Heru resurrect Assar, and Assar joins Ra in heaven as a god in nature. The children of those Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut, who were separated from Afura Ka, Afurai Kait, begin to evoke the spirits of the ancestresses and ancestors, who then come forth and openly exercise their jurisdiction over the lives of their children. Jesus never existed. Mary never existed. Yeshua ben Pandera never existed. Whites have no special connection to God, nor have they been visited by God's fictional only begotten Son. The names of the gods and goddesses that were corrupted by the whites and applied to their fictional characters are names of spiritual forces in creation that have always operated through the sun, moon, planets, stars, our physical bodies, and our spirits, and continue to operate through the families and clans of Afura Kanu, Afurai Kaitnut.